Hello everyone, this is Snigdha Mahapatra, intern at LexClick, and in today's video I will be talking about the rule of majority in company law. The principle of rule by majority has been made applicable to the management of the affairs of companies. The members pass resolutions on various subjects either by simple majority or by three-fourth majority. Once a resolution is passed by the requisite majority, then it is binding on all the members of the company. As a resultant corollary, the court will not ordinarily intervene to protect the interests of the minorities if hampered by the resolution, as on becoming a member, each person impliedly consents to submit to the will of the majority of the members. Thus, if wrong is done to the company, it is the company which is the legal entity having its own personality that can only initiate a suit against the wrongdoer. And shareholders or members individually do not have a right to do so. The aforesaid rule was laid down in the leading case of Foss versus Harbottle. According to Palmer, the rule in Foss versus Harbottle is a phrase used to refer to two distinct but linked propositions of law. The first proposition, which is that the court will not ordinarily intervene in the case of an internal matter or internal irregularity if the matter is one which the company can ratify or condone by its own internal procedure. The second is that where it is alleged that a wrong has been done to a company, prima facie the only proper plaintiff is the company itself. Now, briefly, the facts of the case of Foss versus Harbottle is an action was brought against by two shareholders, F and T of a company, on behalf of themselves and all other shareholders against the directors and solicitor of the company, alleging that by concerted and illegal transactions they had caused the company's property to be lost. It was alleged that the directors were acting in concert and effecting various fraudulent and illegal transactions whereby the property of the company was misapplied and wasted. It was prayed that the defendant might be decreed to make good to the company losses. The question was as to the maintainability of the suit. The court held that the action could not be brought by the minority shareholders. The wrong done to the company was one which could be ratified by the majority of members. The company was the proper plaintiff for wrongs done to the company, and the company can act only through its majority shareholders. The majority of the members should be left to decide whether to commence proceedings against it or not. Similarly, in Rajmundry Electric Supply Co. versus Nageshwar Rao, the Supreme Court observed that the courts will not in general intervene in the instance of shareholders in the matters of internal administration and will not interfere with the management of the company by its directors so long as they are acting within the powers conferred on them under articles of the company. Moreover, if the directors are supported by the majority shareholders in what they do, the minority shareholders can in general do nothing about it. One may notice that the aforesaid decisions are essentially a logical extension of the principle that a company is a separate legal entity and the members who compose it are separate legal persons. Once it is admitted that a company is the proper person to bring in action, this is a simple rule of procedure which applies to all wrongs. That is, only the injured party may sue. If, for instance, X intentionally pushes Y down the stairs and Y breaks his leg, in consequence, C has seen the whole incident, cannot bring an action against X. C has not been hurt. He is not the injured party. He is the wrong plaintiff, and the right plaintiff is Y. Similarly, in case of wrong done to company, the only right plaintiff is the company itself, as it is the hurted party. The Delhi High Court in ICICI versus Param Sapuria Synthetic Limited held that a mechanical and automatic application of Foss versus Harbottle rule to the Indian situations, Indian conditions, and Indian corporate realities would be improper and misleading. The principle in the countries of its origin owes its genesis to the established factual foundation of shareholder power centering around private individual enterprise and involving a large number of small shareholders is vastly different than the ground realities in our country. If the Foss versus Harbottle of the share rule is applied mechanically, it would amount to giving weightage to that majority of shareholding having notionally holding more percentage of shares than to the financial institutions which may own a small percentage of shares through though contributed 80% or more in terms of the finances to such companies. It is these financial institutions which have really provided the finance for the company's existence, and therefore to exclude them or to render them voiceless on an application of the principles of Foss versus Harbottle rule would be unjust and unfair. Thank you so much for watching the video and see you in another video.